Hello, welcome to Johnson Appliances Betting and 70th Anniversary Family Recipe Cook-Off. I'm Mike Carmody, chef, owner of OC Surf Cafe. I've been asked to oversee this judges contest for the 4 finalists. And our 4 finalists are Debbie Uber of Petersburg, will be making turkey and goat cheese empanadas. Deb. John and Barb Henchek of Stone Harbor will be preparing Coquille St. Jacques. John and Barbara. Carol Raymond from Ocean City will be making Carol's Ocean City pound cake. And Carol?
There she is.
Okay, here she is, right here. And then Carolyn Vinci of North Wildwood will make her no brick oven pizza. Now these are all winners from Johnson, so each won a category. So they're all going to come in here and do their winning items, and then we're going to pick one winner from the 4. And this is a really great event here tonight. I just want to thank the Johnsons and everyone for coming here. Thank you so much. You're all winners. And now, can you tell me about so where are the scallops from?
Scallops are from Rick Seafood in North Wildwood.
Okay.
He's been in business for 30 years, and when you're dealing with seafood, you want to go with the winner, and longevity is only a sign of a winner.
Okay.
The mushrooms are from Clinton Turnover's Farm Market, and the bread, which we have over to the right, is from the Peanut Pine Stone Harbor catering and bakery concern. What we started off here with was garlic, shallots, and capers, which right now are getting happy together with the butter. To it, we're going to add the mushrooms. Now this is an important dish because this was the dish the Crusaders ate when they crossed from England into France. And I think the French were kind of concerned that the King Henry party of 10,000 might eat all their goats and chickens and cows, so they quickly went out and got scallops, which were readily available, easy for them to cook. The mushrooms will get softened, but not too soft. If you ever get in a bind and you want to repeat this recipe, I find that the canned stems and pieces work. Just drain them, rinse them, and drain them again to get that salt off. And in that this dish, we find we can actually keep it in the refrigerator or in the freezer. And then when that group of people who in February you were at a party and said, you ought to come down and visit us, they decided the same weekend to do it. You have something to feed them that is not going to be, just typical. And the fun thing about this is that if you have a stovetop, which we do not, it would give you an opportunity to be able to talk with folks and spend some time with them while you're cooking. Now, we're going to try and get these mushrooms a little bit soft, but in the meal itself, we'll go through a couple permutations. The first will be the softening at this point. The second will be a poach with some white wine. I follow the rule that if you can't drink it, don't use it. Which brings up an interesting point that sometimes when you're at a party, taking 2 cups of wine out of the party surroundings may be a problem. We find Noe Pratt vermouth works very well and keeps everybody happy. White Noe Pratt particularly is what you want to use. The next step is the guest of honor, which we purchased at Rick's Seafood in North Wildwood. Rick's been in business, as I mentioned before, for a very long period of time, and we find that that works for us to work with someone who's been around a while. We're going to bring the guest of honor in here, and they're not going to actually want them to cook it. We want them to cook it this.
Start and we'll talk about what you do. Okay. And then, okay.
Some people, cooking wine
You don't mind.
means the wine the cook drinks while they're working. And that works well at the shore.
Now, do you serve it in the scallop shells? Is that how you do it, or do you,
That's an option. Not to step on anybody's toes, but this could be also portioned out to be an app if you wanted to do that and put in the scallop shell. Or it can be, as we said, a meal with the scallops. I caution people, when you go to the supermarket, I've been burned myself, make sure that they are scallops that you're buying and not something that the Japanese think they made for us as a scallop.
Eventually what we serve it in is we have a Portuguese pan that's actually like a scallop shell. It's called a margarita pan.
okay.
And it's this wonderful form with a lip around it, so when you do the potatoes they can kind of leak over in cheese. But it's a pewter, and it's a traditional piece that we've used for years for this recipe.
Yeah.
It
Sounds
kind of
good.
adds to
No,
it.
looks
No, it
great.
adds to the beauty of the meal actually.
All right, so now you're draining the liquid and you save that, I guess? You reuse it?
We're going to reuse that directly. And
You want to put that right over this one?
yes, that's why it's a family affair. 250 and 5%.
Yes, I can.
There we go.
Is that good?
Now that'll drain a little bit more liquid.
Good, good, good.
This will come back on here, and this can go through a reduction process that the
So this meal was really served during to the Crusades when they came over. You really didn't come across that English channel until the spring. So what did you had? You had shallots. You had potatoes that were, from the winter over, Okay, as far as crop. You had the scallops, and then you had the mushrooms. And you didn't want them, there were huge amounts of people eating your livestock. Certainly you're not going to give up those wonderful geese, or your beef cattle or any of your chickens. So this was a meal that they could gather, they could cook it in one pot over a fire, obviously, and it would have been in those thick, deep Dutch ovens, because everyone carried one with themselves. Went all in there, and then you had hard cheese that you probably had with you. Certainly the French did, and then they could go ahead, and then people would move on through Europe, because it was a very long trip, and you needed to be reaching the Holy Lands, obviously before it got horribly hot, which I can't comprehend how that didn't happen. Also, we wouldn't want to be caught in those mountain passes in the winter.
Sure.
So there was this whole process. But the name Cookoff Saint-Jacques came for the patron saint of the Crusaders, which of course was St. James, the scallop of St. James.
we like to use tiger sauce in that it has some carrots in it, which tend to push the heat to the back of your tongue, as opposed to burning the tip of your tongue. Real plus. And I'm just reducing this a little bit. You'll find that Wonder flour is an integral part of this dish. It's not a bailout. I have a fait-tout pot. I try to cook it down to a little bit. It was a little too strong, so this helps keep it at more of an even taste level.
So now you're adding the flour and butter to thicken the sauce?
Thicken the sauce,
Right.
thank you. Correct. And what I'm going to do is I have a mixture of egg yolk and cream.
So a little liaison you're putting in it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to make sure I temper that so it doesn't become an omelet on me. And I'll try to put some of this in and prevent that from happening.
doing so, he's so focused, I hate to walk in.
Now, who makes this meal? Do you make it? Does he make it? Do you do it together?
Generally, we're running around the kitchen making it together, but you know, because sometimes we get really ambitious and we decide we just have to pipe potatoes. But these were fresh potatoes that we got down here, and the Yukon
Okay.
Golds and the teeny tiny ones that we went. Actually, we got them at the Stone Harbor's Farmers Market, and they actually do grow Yukon Gold in
Nice.
Fairton, which is Cumberland County. And we wanted to make a meal that, even though it's a French meal, it is still Jersey fresh.
All right, that's great.
And just for those people who don't know, there were French here as of 1688 in Cape May County. They were brought over by Daniel Cox, and he wanted to start salt production and vineyards, of course, wine production, and then the fruit trees. And there's a wonderful account from Daniel Cox. His original house is in Cold Spring Village, but he was the person who owned this part of the Jerseys. And he talks about his French gardener who planted so many trees down there in Cold Spring. So I found that very exciting.
That's great.
And of course, they would have worked with this meal because this was so, it really is so integral to that part of France.
We add the parsley at this point so it doesn't appear to be algae on the top and come into little balls, which it will do if it cooks too much. That
So I hold that bowl for you, sir.
element, I need a
What do you need, honey? Hot pot
hot
holder?
pot holder.
Here I am. This is for you. And this is the second.
And then this,
And so now, what wine did you put in? This was white, or
I used Vouvray, French Chenin Blanc.
okay?
Did you want me to take that?
Yes, and no, I want a paper towel.
Yes, behind you.
Oh, excuse me.
Please.
And I did drop a parsley leaf back there so it doesn't smell like
Here.
somebody
What's that?
is burning something.
Okay.
Now at this point, like any home cook, you may want to thicken this up a bit more.
I'm gonna put these here.
And that's what I'm going to do. This is going to sit in a pan that's going to be roasted in the oven. It's going to be covered with cheese and mashed potato mix. You can take, if you have a pastry bag, which of course I left at home, you could dress it up or just prepare it the way I've done it. And I just want to get a little bit more thickener in here. And adjusting these things is part
And now
of.
this is the finished product you have here. This is pretty
Yes.
much okay.
Now, sometimes what we'll do with this is, if you have a pastry bag, you can play with it. You can make designs on the top. You can put initials in it for a guest. Sometimes, to remind people that it was food of the Crusaders, Barbara will put a red cross out of red pepper just on the top of it, and it's a historic dish. This food,
Yes.
now, that's, now it's going to go in a small pan.
Did you want your pan for your potatoes?
Right here.
Do you want a slotted spoon or?
No. Now the nice thing about this is that which I don't use today is going to go home in the refrigerator and probably be part of an omelet tomorrow, which is really wonderful.
I think that's the best part about French food is that you can be thrifty with it and you can use it in so many ways.
We also find that the history in our country is that we eat a lot of scallions. We recognize that by the fact that the furniture of Philadelphia. Scallops on the knees, scallops on the crest rail. The most expensive piece of American furniture was a secretary that was sold at Christie's for $11 million. And it had scallop shells. Now,
These were the Yukon Golds.
I used Yukon Gold potatoes, the real deal. You can use instant mash, and a lot of times that's a good bailout. I happen to like this because it gives me a sense of being at the shore, being rustic, when you have a little bit of
Oh, there was a slow
lumpy
spoon.
potatoes.
I was looking for the spoon all over.
And then that should do it, with the
Okay.
exception of,
Here, you ready? You have your cheese?
and we mixed some cheese for taste and color as well. In this case was some Asiago mixed with some Asiago, right?
Yeah. There was,
Asiago and cheddar,
and Parmesan.
little parm.
Yeah, and a little provolone and then some. So there's 5 cheeses in there, and I call it confetti. Makes it pretty.
Yeah,
And with the red cross, it's really beautiful, I must tell you.
and now this is ready to go into the oven. And I always suggest that with any of these boiling bubbles, you're going to have a liner or a continuous clean oven. And we're ready to go.
Okay, do you want to give one? We'll put this in the oven and we'll...
Is it here, the top one or the
Yeah,
bottom?
the top oven.
Okay, we're going to do the top oven. Here we go. Is that okay for a shot? Okay, then I'll go get the...
All right, well, listen, we have this other one right now. Why don't we put this down here for right now?
Ready?
Okay, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your recipe?
I live in Ocean City and I make cakes for my neighbors all the time, and she talked me into getting into the contest. So this is a cream cheese pound cake, which is 3/4 pound of butter and 8 ounces of cream cheese, of sour cream, and 4 ounces of cream cheese, and 2 squirts of vanilla, or whatever. And then you mix it all together.
So, and how long do you cream this together for?
Just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
You just go like that so it doesn't fall over.
All right, so Carol, now what are you going to add in there?
Sugar.
Sugar?
3
Yeah.
cups of sugar. Exactly 3 cups of sugar.
Okay.
And all your, I forgot to tell you, all your ingredients have to be room temperature.
Okay.
Everything has to be room temperature.
And that's important. Everything's got to be room temperature.
Everything has to be room temperature. I do that so it doesn't splash it.
Thank you.
Oh, you have sugar all over me.
You're good.
not turn out like that. 3 cups of flour. Has to be exactly 3 cups.
So it's equal parts flour and sugar.
Equal parts sugar.
And then how many egg yolks? Or eggs?
6.
6 eggs?
And this has 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Quarter teaspoon of salt. And half a teaspoon of baking soda. You just mix all your dry ingredients together. And swish it before you start, otherwise you'll get powder all over the thing. Make it a little powder. Now while this is in the oven, then I can make the cream cheese icing. But this has to be in the oven for about 60 minutes, 350 degrees. And either makes 1 big bun cake or 2 little cakes.
Okay, I'll pull these in for you.
Well,
And so now what did you grease these pans? How do you do this?
I put just a little shake of flour and cooking spray.
Okay.
They
You need a hand? And now you put them in a convection oven or regular oven?
No.
Okay. Regular oven, okay.
350. Regular gas.
And now who do you make this cake for?
Who do I make it
Here,
for?
I mean, like your friends, your
Well,
neighbors.
my-
So they all love you, right? That's good, yeah. That's
My
great.
neighbor right there
Yeah.
talked me into going to the
That's
contest.
great, see?
My first contest. My last. Anyway,
And now where did this recipe come from?
I mix combinations. It's not in any cookbook. I just actually played around with different things and actually came up with it myself.
So you get an original recipe here that's proven, which is pretty neat.
Great. And I just add stuff to it to myself to make it my own recipe.
And now the icing, what is that?
Okay, the icing is real easy. When this is in, I'll show you. I can do it in 2 minutes.
Okay, that's good.
It's half a pound of butter. Well, I doubled it because for 2. And cream cheese and yen, a little squirt of vanilla, and the rest you can pick for sugar, and you mix it all together while they're in the oven.
Okay,
That's it.
that's great.
Is that 350?
I think it is. Let's see, that's what it says.
Yep.
And we don't have to put anything underneath, right? We're good?
Okay, my name's Carolyn Vinci, and I have a home in North Wildwood, and today I'm going to make what I call the no brick oven pizza. And I'm kind of a fan of the America's Test Kitchen, and I actually read their cookbook, and they have a lot of good scientific things in there. And this is one of the things that I was trying to solve on my own. I didn't really see it in there, but I take two pizza stones and I put one at the top of the oven and one at the bottom, and then I cook my pizza in the middle, and it kind of mimics, it gets hot, you know, when the oven gets at 500 and the stones are at 500, it radiates more heat. So I found that it makes a really great crust.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, all right, so I guess we'll just get started.
Sure.
All right, my recipe, I can either make homemade dough, which I do in the bread machine, or I use the ShopRite dough. And today I'm using ShopRite dough because I'm trying to stress that this is something that anybody can do. It's very easy and it's very time efficient. So all you have to do is take the dough. I'm just going to spray my hand a little bit. And it's usually frozen when you buy it, and I leave it out about 8 hours. So I got up at 4 a.m. and took the dough out today, and it's ready to go now. It rises nice. And you just, in order to defrost it, you just spray the bowl, put the frozen dough in there, and cover it, and just let it go for 8 hours. And it's good for people who work when they come home. It's ready to go. So you just take it out of the bowl, and you put it right there on the flour. And the good part about it, like I was saying in my recipe, was that it's already kneaded. You don't need to do anything. In fact, if you start kneading this, it's going to be like chewing gum. So, and I've learned that, you know, by doing it. So you just take it and roll it out to the size of your pan, which in my case is about, I'd say probably 15 inches round. And sometimes, you know, it's going to fight a little bit. It's going to come back at you. So, you know, you just kind of go a little rough with it and make sure you can get it, let it rest a little bit, come back to it, and you get it to your size, and then you put it on your pan. So I use a perforated pan, like an air bake pan.
Why don't you show that to the camera?
Sure. I always spray it too, just because even though it looks like it's non-stick, the little cheese gets on there, something from the pizza. It's better to have it sprayed, just light spray. Okay. So this looks about right. You know, you might want to just take your pan and make sure it's about the right size. And again, it might snap back a little bit. It makes me think about the people on the boardwalk. I really respect them making their pizza doughs, because I'm sure with humidity and different things, it snaps back at you. And you have to work it. So we just put it on the pan. Get it on there nice so that it covers most of the pan. Now, the reason I make this pizza is I never had homemade pizza till I met my husband, and his grandmother made homemade pizza like nobody I've ever been around. And her pizza, she would make 3 or 4 at a time in the oven. She'd have them on the bottom of the oven cooking, and she would cut them up with scissors. I put all this in my recipe. She would just like cut them up with the scissors, and everybody would sit around and eat it. So I really got spoiled by that, and the Elio's boxes are no longer part of my shopping,
So it's a
which
real
I
easy
grew up
recipe,
with.
you think? And what's it,
Yes.
olive oil?
Yes, that
Extra
was
virgin you
olive
just
oil,
put in?
extra virgin. I just put this, and I'm painting this on the bottom of the crust. And this again will make it, give it a nice crisp. And it also seasons the crust a little bit more than just having it be dough. All right, now I'm going to put some ground pepper. And I always say, put more than you think you need, because cooking it and all, I mean, you really want to taste each ingredient. So it might look like a lot of pepper, but honestly, after you cook it, it just all blends together. So you're not really going to notice that it's really hot. So the ground pepper, freshly ground if you can get it. And then this is freshly ground sea salt. I've already did a little bit of it, and I'm just going to sprinkle this. This is actually, I treated myself. I got some pink sea salt for a change, and put that on there. Usually you use this as a finish, but I put it on. This is kind of my way of doing it a little upside down. I put the seasonings on. Now I'm gonna like get my cheese out of here, and I'm gonna put some provolone cheese, not sharp, just regular provolone. And again, I got this at ShopRite, so they have a pretty good provolone there. This is the Bella provolone, so I'm just gonna put this around the dough. And my whole thing about this is convenience, because who wants to come home from work and have to deal with making an hour, a pizza takes an hour to make. So this is takes about 15 minutes to put together. And like I was saying in my recipe, by the time you call and get somebody to deliver a pizza, it's going to be 45 minutes at least. So.
And the cost? Now, what do you say the cost to put together a pie?
Yeah, I'd say with it, things not being on sale, about $4. But when things are on sale, like the dough goes on sale for $1 each. So I think the cost would come way down if you're, shopping ahead of time. Here it is, right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I'm sorry I didn't do this ahead of time, prep the tomatoes, because they get watery, and the whole point is we want this to be a crisp pizza. So I don't know what it
No, these are Roma tomatoes?
Yeah. Do you show off my cut these on? It's going to take me a little while. Yes, the Roma.
You're doing a great job. All these knife skills, it's incredible.
Well, I should be doing that a little different. Having a chef here is a little intimidating. Yes, I got these at Muzzarelli Farms in Vineland. They have beautiful tomatoes up there, and these are the Romas. And I get the Roma when I can, because even in the wintertime, they're the best tomato to make pizza with. There's little water, very little water. It's a nice meaty tomato. It's not a lot of seeds, and it just cooks up nice. It looks really nice on the pizza. So we're going to slice these kind of thin, and we're going to be putting these all around the pizza. This is going to take me a little while to do. I don't know whether... Did the oven get... We preheated the oven to 500. I don't know whether it's... Oh, it's 480. It's getting there. Okay,
So then, and then what, you have fresh basil here also?
Yeah, basil I'm going to put on afterward when it comes out of the oven, and fresh grated cheese. The basil I got at Santori's produce outlet. They have beautiful basil there. I tried growing it by this time of year. I did have some nice basil earlier in the year, but this time of year it's woody. So I did go to Santori's. So we're just going to put this all around the pizza, pretty much touching the edges. This pizza is only going to take about 7 minutes in the oven to make. So that by the time you toss your salad, you're ready to go.
And what kind of cheese do you grate on at the end?
Well, this is Locatelli today.
Okay.
I have. I did grate it ahead of time, but usually I try to do it with a grater on the top. If I have it, if I have a piece of cheese. I'll take that. Put in a plug for Trader Joe's. I'd love to take a road trip up there, and they have really great olive oil and a couple different ingredients that I'll use, some feta cheese and stuff. This is just one version of the pizza. You can put anything on these pizzas.
What's your favorite?
Well, this is probably my favorite because I like broccoli rabe on it with sharp provolone or spinach and feta. Whatever you got, like in the produce bin, just put on there. We'll put scrambled eggs on it, ham.
Yeah, so you make this for your family? So?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is my go-to when I have friends over, too. I probably make this once a week, my poor husband, but he doesn't mind. I make the pizza.
Who doesn't like pizza?
Yeah, and with the salad, it's pretty well-rounded dinner. Yeah, this is really kind of no-fail. You don't have to worry about cooking it too long. You just check it when you're putting it... when you're getting it out of the oven, you just check the bottom, make sure that it's there's a little bit more tomatoes.
Oh, here you go. Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just needed another one. Thank you. You'll know when it's done because you just take your pizza cutter and flip it up. And first of all, it shouldn't still be like soft. It should come up pretty nice and stiff, and a little brown on the bottom, and of course brown on the edges.
And now, so
Yes.
what is this, like how many slices was this feed? Like 4 people? 6?
No, probably not.
Three?
Probably 3, 2 or
Yeah.
3. Yeah. Yeah.
1 for me. But
Yeah, not that many. Make a couple of them. Usually have a couple pans. Sometimes I'll cook, instead of cooking it on an aerated pan like this, I'll put it on a parchment paper and put it right on the stone. But I never cook anything right on the stone because it gets very, if you get a little cheese on it, it burns and then it
Sure.
stains and then it smokes. So I stay away from putting anything directly on the stone. All right, and then the last thing you do is you just take a little bit of the olive oil and sprinkle it around lightly. A little bit more pepper. And pepper fan. And in the oven. And that's it. Looks like we're ready.
okay.
500.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take it right in. I'm gonna put it right in. As you can see, I have the stone at the top and the bottom. And I'm just gonna put the pizza right in the middle there. It's perfect.
Okay, and now how long?
About 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Water, but like medium temperature water. And the bag it came in is the best bag because it's got little holes in it. And just tin it over lightly over, and it makes a little greenhouse. Honestly, it
Can you keep it room
lasts.
temperature? Or,
Yeah,
okay.
you keep it on the counter, and it even looks nice, you know. But
Good. Well,
I'm gonna tell you, I've had it last 2 weeks like that, just on the counter. So, got to give kudos to Rachel on that one. Really helped a lot. And then after that, if you haven't used it all, put that nicely. If you haven't used it all, curl them up, roll them up into one long roll. And I put a lot of basil and stuff, so I have another thing I can do here. You just line them up, and the chef would tell you what this is called.
chiffonade?
Chiffonade, right? Yes. Just a chiffonade, like little ribbons. Right? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. And they do look like little ribbons, and you're ready to put them on pizza. They look really pretty.
Why the wheat?
That's all. But I get the other, and you know what? The wheat's always frozen when I buy it. If you buy the white, it's usually defrosted, and that defeats the whole economy of scale thing. So. Well, definitely not gluten free with wheat. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. I guess that's it. Okay. All done. All right.
Let's carry that up here.
Oh, you know what? Oh, hold on.
You want to put the cheese on top, right?
My hands are clean. I hate to do this without gloves. I did wash my hands. Okay. So, just,
Come here.
Let's look at
thank
pictures.
you. I had to give it up for the tomatoes because they carry, you know, being small like that. This time of year I got lucky. That's okay. We're going to be like...
No, we didn't put it.
I want to set this on top or it would melt.
No, I didn't want
Right.
to. No, when the empanadas are done, yeah. No, we'll put both in together.
The top.
Hi, my name is Debbie Huber. I'm from Upper Township, but I work here in Ocean City. I work in the Ocean City schools. So today I'm going to make you turkey and goat cheese empanadas with a chipotle cherry sauce. Now, I came up with this recipe partially because I'm really bad at preparing appetizers. I like to do the entree. The dessert's my favorite, but the appetizer seems to be kind of a afterthought. Like, oh no, what do I come up with? So, love empanadas. So this appetizer, I came up with because it is a little savory and a little sweet, a little spicy, and it can be used as a main entree as well. So, but if I was going to do an appetizer, I thought, well, I can't be spending as much time on the appetizer as I am on the entree because you're spending the whole day in the kitchen. So I came up with something that was kind of easy. So we start out with prepared pie crust. I have done it with homemade pie crust, and it's fine, but this is so much easier, and it's a lot less crumbly. So I find that I'm more successful for the empanadas with these. Now, so here I've unrolled the pie crust, and I've prepared the filling ahead of time. The filling, you can use ground beef if you want. I prefer the ground turkey because it takes on the other flavors. It doesn't dominate too much. So I ground the turkey. I put in some taco seasoning, or you can make your own taco seasoning. And then I add it, so that's, after I cook that, let it cool a little bit. And then I added some dried sour cherries. Now I didn't just put them in just dry. I first reconstitute them a little bit in some water in the microwave and then drained them just so they weren't real dry. And then there's some crumbled goat cheese, and to make it really easy, in the grocery store they have it pre-crumbled, which makes it really easy. So I did that. That's all prepared ahead of time. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to fill them to be put into the oven. So 3-inch cookie cutter, or a biscuit cutter, I guess you could call it. And you're going to make your 3-inch rounds, and I put them on a cookie sheet. You don't have to line it with parchment, but who doesn't like cleanup a lot easier?
Have you sprayed that, or do you have to just...
Not with the
right-
parchment,
okay.
nope. And I just put it right on top. You don't have to spray it or anything. And so not only does it not stick, it does make cleanup a lot easier. So... my husband really likes these because he likes a little bit of spicy. He likes goat cheese. Goat cheese, I would say, is not my favorite cheese, but when you mix it with that little sweetness of the sour cherry sauce with the chipotle, it really makes the goat cheese taste great. So these are one of my husband's favorite things. We love empanadas. We actually will seek out restaurants that serve empanadas if we can. So you could take the rest of these scraps, roll them out again,
Okay.
make some more. For time's sake, I won't worry about that today, but you could probably get a couple more out of that one. I'm gonna so I use 2 pastry sheets, and I'll unroll this.
So you got 10 out of that one sheet, and then you probably get 10
Yeah, I
more.
could probably get 12 out of
Okay.
each one if I re-rolled that. So, yeah, I don't usually like to waste the scraps too much. Oops. First one.
Now,
So
have you guys traveled at all, like Central America, South America?
we've traveled to
Ecuador?
Central America.
Okay.
Actually, we just came back from Guatemala
Okay.
in August, but they don't serve empanadas where we went. I haven't had them there. We have friends who he is from it's Venezuela, and he makes empanadas and has made them for us, and they're amazing. You can get them lots of places. People make them different ways. Some people use pie crust type crust. Some people use more of a breadish type crust. I think it's more of like a tart crust that has like an egg yolk in it, maybe. So kind of depends on where you go. They fill them, sometimes they're filled sweet, sometimes they're savory. Let's see if I can stretch that just a little. You can find them with pork or beef or chicken, lots of different ways, lots of different spices put in those. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just put about a tablespoon on half of the empanada, because we're going to fold them up and make them like a little pocket. So I have some water here that'll help seal it. So first I'm going to, and that's why I wore the gloves, because I will use my fingers. So I'll take about a tablespoon, put it on half,
And can you tell me about the Chipotle cherry sauce a little bit?
Oh, okay, sure.
If
Yeah,
you don't
so
mind, I don't want to get ahead of you.
yeah, but we don't want to forget about that because actually, for me, that's what makes the empanada. So the empanada itself is definitely has a little taco-y spice, but not real spicy, and a little sweetness from the cherries. But the sour cherry sauce with the chipotle peppers is just a jar of tart cherry preserves, and they have a couple different varieties that you can get at the store, the grocery store. And so I will get that and use 2/3 cup, and then you add to it 1 chipotle pepper with adobo sauce. Have you ever?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Oh,
it comes
yeah,
in a
great.
can, chipotle pepper with adobo sauce. So you take out 1 chipotle pepper out of it. Comes with a whole lot of them, and you will take the little seeds out of the middle, and then you'll chop it real fine. Now you only need 1 because they can add quite a bit of heat. So it's time consuming, but it's not hard, this part. Actually, it really doesn't take that much time. So what you need to do is you need to add a little water so
Okay.
it seals. So I just take my fork, I just put it in the water, go around the end, and then I'm going to close it up over the top, and then take the fork and just crimp it shut there. And that's it. And then I'm going to go to the next one. Put it in. So as I was saying about the adobo peppers the chipotle peppers in the adobo sauce, is so 1 pepper goes in it, but then I take a 1/4 teaspoon of the sauce that it comes in, and then I mix that in.
Okay.
Right before you serve it, you're going to put it in the microwave for a minute just so it's warm and it's a little thinner. So after this is baked, you'll put that, just like that sample up there, you'll just put about a teaspoon on top of each one. So this is an appetizer. You can serve as little or as many. It could be a light meal, for sure. We actually had it for dinner last night.
It's good. Testing it.
Yeah. And you can do different types of fillings, but this just is a little more special because of this. My brother-in-law says it's a little sweet, little heat. That's what he says.
You guys got to come up and look at these. They look pretty neat. Just give it a shot.
Yeah. So actually, if you do have you have kids helping in the kitchen, this is a really great thing for them to do because it's not hard for them to help, and they are learning a little bit because they can fold it over and they can match the sides, and then it gets them enjoying the kitchen, which is how I first learned to cook from my mother because she loved the kitchen so much. And still does.
That's great. These look really good. I mean, you got to take a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, when you put them in the oven, do you just the water? Do you egg wash?
I don't egg wash. No, you can egg wash though, and it would definitely get a little shinier. So, so put them in the oven for 12 minutes, or could be up to 15 depending on your oven. You just want them slightly browned, and then they are ready to go once they come out of the oven. Put a teaspoon of that warmed sour cherry chipotle sauce on the top, and you serve them right away, for your appetizers. These are good when you go to an appetizer party, and it's just appetizers and you're supposed to bring something because it's a little heartier that way. Or it can just be the beginning of a meal.
And so have you tried other variations, different? Is there something else you'd like to make empanadas?
I used a ground pork once that, and I think it had some cumin and maybe cardamom in there. So it didn't have a sauce, but I did that ground pork, and we really liked that. And that was also in a pie crust type. So I think there's just a lot of different, really, anything you put in a crust is great because crust is just wonderful. So you can actually try it a lot of different ways. If you're going to make it for an entree, I would make them bigger. So I take like a cereal bowl, turn it upside down on the crust, and then cut around that so it makes,
Sure.
and then fold it in half. So it's like a hand pie. If you ever heard of that term, hand pies. There's a lot of different. That's the Americanized version, I guess.
Sure, and every country has their own version of empanadas, and meat pies, just everything they call in different
Right.
regions of the world.
So this is a quick appetizer. It's a little, you can actually too, you can make these ahead of time, put them in the freezer, so you can have, let's say, you just have some left over, put them in the freezer, and then you have guests coming over, just a few people, and you need some appetizer. They heat up so nicely in the oven, right from the freezer. And then the chipotle cherry sauce, you can just whip that up really quickly. So these are things definitely you can make ahead.
Carol, do you want to check your cake? Or we're going to jump in the microwave and just kind of heat the sauce for it a little bit.
All right.
So these are pretty simple, great, I mean, not that it's simple, but great entertaining. You do this ahead of time. You can throw it in the oven when before, jump in the shower, get ready, and come out and it's pretty much done.
And as I said, you can make them ahead of time for sure.
If you wanted to, I'm just saying for entertaining purposes.
But they're easy. Nothing is difficult about it. It's an easy recipe to follow, with ingredients that are easy to find. So they're not intimidating. Some people think pie crust is intimidating, and when you do it this way, it's not. It's just, you can cut out a cookie with a cookie cutter. They're easy. So, and they really taste good.
Well, I think maybe we get enough for some people to try these when they come out. We'll see what we can do on.
Okay.
Definitely the camera crew and these guys really.
All right. Yeah. So we have plenty, and so then we'll put them in the oven. So thanks a lot.
All right, guys, let's give her a hand. I think it was great. Thank you all for coming too. It's been wonderful. We're going to try and get everything in the oven, and we're going to pull it all out and do a presentation of all the final products. So thanks again, and thanks Johnson's for doing this.